She flies with the girl, your favorite girl. She flies a space for you and I to be heard. She flies with the girl, your favorite girl. She flies, live life of God, live she. Hey y'all, it is your favorite girl Enjoli back with a brand new podcast called Church Girl Problems. Woo! Y'all supposed to clap?
Okay.
So listen, we are going in a totally different direction with the podcast. So before we get into anything, I just want to take just a quick second to explain what it's about and how it came into fruition. So, as I'm on this journey with God, I've kept noticing that I've kept running into kind of like this standstill, right? And as I talk to my friends, my peers, or what have you, a lot of them are having like this same struggle. It's like we're trying to live this life with God in everything that we do. We're trying to find our purpose, our destiny. Like we're finding it. We're trying to find the direction we're going, but we end up getting in this hamster wheel. And so we're trying to figure out what is the disconnect here? How do we all keep ending up in this hamster wheel? It's got to be something going on, right? And so we start talking a little more, start peeling back a little bit of those layers, and we're finding our experience with church, how we grew up, seems to have some type of effect on how we reach our purpose in God. So we're like, okay, let's peel back a few more of those layers. A lot of people had some positive experiences, but a lot of us have had some negative experiences. And those experiences, not only are they kind of like swept under the rug, but they negatively shape how we think of ourselves, how we show up in the world, and our perception of things. And so now we're starting to put all the pieces to the puzzle together. And so we decided to create a space called Church Girl Problems so myself and my peers can share the experience with you. This ain't a bashing session, so that's what it's not. We're not dropping no names. We're not dropping y'all pastor name, talking bad about it. We're not dropping your church name or nothing like that. Now, if the shoe fits, that ain't got nothing to do with us, okay? But the purpose is to share our experience, make it a therapeutic experience for us to heal and for you to heal along with us also. So, with all that being said, what I need you to do me a favor, go ahead and like, go ahead and share, go ahead and hit that bell and subscribe so you can stay up with all of the new episodes that are dropping. Okay, so without further ado, okay, so I have some guests today. Now, these beautiful ladies to my right, these are, what they be saying, our day ones. Like, this is 20 years of friendship right here, okay? That's a long, we don't even look like it, okay? So, what I want to do is introduce my friends, and I want you to give me your name, and I want you to give me your favorite ice cream, and then, like, your denomination, like, what you grew up in. Okay, let's start with you.
So my name is Danielle, also known as Danny Pants between the two of them. Anybody that wants to call me that. But I would say favorite ice cream, I would say it's a toss between butter pecan, or don't start. Because we already had the conversation. Or cookies and cream. And I grew up Apostolic. Heavy, like strict apostolic. So yeah, that's my upcomings. Okay.
Yeah, all
right. So my name is Crystal. I don't have a nickname.
Shotty Boo.
Oh, Shotty, yeah. Hey. My favorite ice cream, I'm greedy, so it has to have something in it. So probably like brownie batter, not butter pecan. Because we're not old.
It's actually
amazing.
Delicious.
It's really not.
It's really.
It's
not.
It's not. I grew up Baptist. So, yeah.
Okay. So we just finna get like right into it. So we've been we've been friends for a really long time. And so I grew up kind of within a few denominations. Let's see, AME, Primitive Baptist, Regular Baptist. I've been a part of Missionary Baptist, non-denominational, just to name a few. Okay, so we all had our various experience in church, but we've all seemed to like find this common experience growing up as little girls, young women in church. And so I just want to ask your opinion on like, when it comes to like building who you are, so like your self-esteem, how did, like growing up, what are some of the messages that you've heard? Like, I know I made a couple of like social media posts that talk about like, having to like wear the stockings and the slips and the girdles. And I'm like, first of all, growing up, it was this big. Okay. Why was they wearing all this
what
stuff?
You need a girdle for?
A girdle. I knew what a girdle was from a young age. Like, but it was like, I remember like, you don't want to be shaking. I'm like, what's shaking? Yeah. But right. You don't want to cause your brother to fall. Right?
Why they
Right.
Exactly. Why are they falling?
Why are they falling? So what is that? What was that like for you all, like growing up? And chime in at any time, like, and how did that affect your self-esteem? And if you're in the comments and you have like some experiences too, go ahead and drop a comment, because this is a safe space. Oh wait, time out. Listen, some stuff gonna be said, you may not agree, and that is okay. And you can agree or you could disagree. However, this is a respectful community that we're building here. So say your comment, drop your comment, but always be respectful, because people are sharing their experiences and we're hoping that you share your experience too. Okay, go ahead.
So I think growing up like I think they call it like holiness churches. So that's like Apostolic Pentecostal. Mm-hmm. It was, now I will say luckily my dad, he wasn't as strict as I saw other counterparts, like other people that I was around. So although when we did come to church, we did have to wear a skirt. It was no nail polish, no colored makeup. Sometimes if it was makeup, it would just be like the regular foundation, something that looked very natural. Wasn't able to wear, nails. And I think even when I had to go to homecoming, he showed my type of shoes to my bishop to see if that would be allowed. Like no open toe shoes. Like it was weird.
No, open toe,
right? Yeah, it was very humiliating. And I would say, I think Pentecostals are more of the long hair. You can't cut your hair. I don't think Apostolic. Well, I'll say white Pentecostal churches, Black Pentecostal and Apostolic. They changed their hair, anything like that, so they didn't really care. But it was, to be more modest, look ladylike. You don't want to offend your brother by the way that you look or anything of that nature. So I think I got both worlds of that. It wasn't strict, but it was strict enough where if I went to school or if I went, different outings and everything, I noticed the difference of how we had to dress and how it was inputted into us on how to dress. So, yeah.
I mean, in my church, luckily, it wasn't strict like that, but I do think like just being presentable and being modest was like the undertone of it, if that makes sense. And my mom would always instill in my sister and I, like, you're beautiful, and especially me because I'm, chocolatey. so like skin color, all of that kind of stuff. She talked to us about that at a young age. But I remember like going to school with people who were like apostolic or things like that, and it really did set them apart because they're like, you don't really know how to move. Like, dang, I got to wear a dress all the time. I got to wear a skirt all the time.
What I would notice is that you can pick them out and be like, oh, she real there. She got that long denim skirt.
Did they have the doilies on the head?
What'd you say?
The doilies? Who is that?
Oh,
is that Pentecostal?
I don't know who that is.
I think I don't want to say that's I think some of the Pentecostal, but I think that's more of, again, that's a culture. That's a white Pentecostal.
Oh,
because they are very strict on not cutting your hair. I went to school with a couple of them, and just beautiful hair, but they would tie it up, do everything they would. but they would not cut their hair because I guess they reference of your hair is your beauty to, you know, as a woman. So, which I get to some extent, but unfortunately, I feel like a lot of those rules are man-made and are doctrine-based versus what is actually in the Word of God. And those are two different things completely.
So do you feel like, I know growing up, it's like so we got the modesty thing, this whole like, we didn't call it purity culture, but it was kind of like the same message. And it was kind of like, you got to hide your body, you know, God forbid if you are like more developed than others. Like, it's kind of like this shame sort of thing. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was not intentional. However, it's kind of like if I'm constantly, like, I'm coming to church to like do whatever it is I'm going to do anyway, right? Like, I'm going to serve here. I'm here to hear the word or sing or what have you. And I'm like conscious because I don't want to be too bouncy, which I'm like, I don't know what's bouncing anyway. Like, but I don't remember anybody ever being like, oh my gosh, you're beautiful. Or, wow, like if the Bible says I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, right? I don't remember anybody in the church telling me that or promoting that when I'm in Sunday school or if I'm at the conferences. Like, there's nobody talking about like, you know, you are kind, you are smart, you are any of those things. But I heard that, okay, it's too many toes out.
Yeah.
I think it's more of the presentation of you have to look a certain way, you have to look as you are a Christian versus what, like you said, what is your heart like? Are you kind to people? Like, do you speak to people when you see them? Like, do you love on people? You know, or
are you intelligent? Can you read? Can you
that part?
You know,
that part.
And
I hate to say it, like the saints are some of the meanest people that I've ever met, and that's sad to say.
Yeah.
Some of the meanest. Now
they look good though.
They look good.
Oh,
they
honey,
look great.
listen, because ain't nobody about to outdress us. You feel what I'm saying?
They shout you outside them pews, but then afterwards,
knucking and bucking for Christ,
right? But then afterwards, when you go out to eat or you know you going out, they're just some of the meanest people. And obviously that's not everybody, but it's just how can you say that you're a saint of God, but then you're mean? That doesn't to me that kind of acts itself.
They're focused on the wrong thing. It's like you focus on my toes being out, but you can't tell me how to properly, you know, coexist with someone who is not our same faith.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that's what we should be learning. I believe that's what the Bible is trying to teach us. And it's not about, you know, but I wanted to touch on, you know, the shame part of it, because that is a big thing that I didn't really even notice, because I don't think it is intentional, at least not in my church experience. It wasn't. But you know, we sang in the choir, so it's like, okay, like my sister, I know she was like busty at a young age, so we always had to make sure she was buttoned up and covered up, and it's like, why, you know? But not why, but you know, like I get it, but also like, you know, what happens if she, you know, starts shouting or something and something falls out? Like,
that's
what do you do?
them blankets come out.
Right. Put it on down.
Which I mean, I understand that to a certain degree, because you don't want to lose focus. Like if it's, you know, the spirit is high and stuff like that.
Correct.
You don't want to lose focus, but at the same time, you know, again, that comes to where is it man based or if it's God based? Are you lusting after that girl that, you know, is, you know, may got a high booty and she shouting and stuff like that? Are you lusting after that?
Oh, we're not going to talk about Deacon Do Nasty, okay? We're not going to talk about him. Okay, about them wandering eyes.
I'm just saying.
You to blame.
I'm just saying.
You the one that got to make sure you are covered up, you're tightened up, because we don't want his eyes to be wandering, even though they're wandering anyway. No, that's on you. That's your responsibility. So it's like growing up with that responsibility. And it's like, you guys, like, again, if this is your experience, like drop that in the comments, because it's like the whole purpose, again, it's not just to, you know, talk about a bad experience, but it's kind of like what I've discovered in our walk with God. It's like, you can't heal nothing that you don't reveal. As long as everything's swept up under the rug, unaddressed behaviors continue to repeat themselves. And that's just been a thing for as long as anybody can remember, whether we want to admit it out loud or not. So it's like now we're talking about it, because what we find is a lot more people than we've probably realized have had a lot of the same experiences, but they don't talk about it. Right. Like, you can't understand why you so bitter and why you so cold and you so callous. Your experiences have something to do with that. Like, I can't imagine, like, I know my husband and I, we were having a discussion, like, you know, well, was it like the mothers that taught you this, or was it like the pastor? I'm like, well, I've heard it across the pulpit. However, it was the mothers, it was the women that were teaching me. Like, so I'm thinking, this is how I conduct myself as a woman. Like, I have to, well, I can't, I don't want to cause him to fall. Like, I don't want to be the one to do that. Like, this was another woman. So it's like, if this is what you're teaching to me, I can only imagine what your experience was as a young girl, because you think what you're teaching me is right.
I was about to say, especially like when you're a young girl, you don't know. Right. Like that your mind is being impressionable at that point in time. So it's like, well, you know, my mom's doing it, you know, my cousins are doing, my aunties are doing, this person doing it. So I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. I guess that's what's right. And that's not always right, unfortunately. Yeah. So,
and that's what I mean. Their experiences were so much different than ours, because I think this is an ever evolving thing, you know, and that's just life in general.
It should be anyway.
Yeah, it should be. It should be. But, you know, they didn't have, like, my mom talks all the time about how, like, her mom never talked to her about that stuff, or like the period talk and, you know, things like that. But she just kind of like a monkey see, monkey do. Like, this is what I'm seeing in church, so that's what I'm gonna do. And they don't know any better, you know, so they just perpetuate that. And it's like, why? Like, what's the rhetoric behind it? Why are we doing
I don't think they ever explain it of why it's the either you do this or you go to hell. Like that holiness or hell type of mentality. Like,
literally
they
go
don't,
to hell.
like you said, like never really having the talk about sex or thinking somebody else is gonna, you know, explain that to you as a kid. Or it was just like, oh, if you do that, you go to hell. Or if you, as a woman, if you get pregnant, you get sat down.
Oh,
Lord.
Lord. You just hit a trigger.
So the young girl gets sat down, but the boy that is probably playing the drums or something like that, he's still doing what he wants.
It's always the drummer. It's always the
ticking.
drummer.
The musicians. Sorry, musicians.
Nah, ain't no sorry. Ain't no
Some of
sorry.
them in my family,
because
so I gotta go
why
back.
weren't they sat down? He done knocked down the whole soprano section. Pastor know it, bishop know it, the deacons know it, but he get to go play every Sunday. But the girl he got pregnant got to go sit down somewhere.
Going to councils.
What you mean?
They gotta be shamed for it. That's so messed up.
What you
That's so messed up.
Why? I want to. If you were a pastor,
Well, I think that's
chime
also
in
like,
because I want to know.
I think that's also that cultural to be seen and not heard. I don't have to explain myself to you. I'm older. I'm an elder. I don't have to explain myself to you. You're supposed to do what I say, and that's it.
Yeah, how well has that worked for the culture?
Not a lot.
It doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
From what we're seeing.
You're not supposed to question me.
But what you're seeing is wrong. So listen, you know, I got triggered, so I got to share this part. Okay. So this whole being sat down thing. So, you know, I mean, y'all were there when I was pregnant with my oldest.
Don't make me
cry. Time flew. Okay, so when I got pregnant, let's see, I had her when I was 19. I think I was still in school, but I ended up going back home for a period of time. And so at this point, I had her, I'm at home. I remember going to this service. Now, mind you, I done already had her, okay? I'm not serving at this time, but I was brought up for prayer, okay? And so everybody's surrounding and everybody's praying, and the preacher proceeds to put his hand on my stomach. And you know what's the story? Is it the woman at the well where Jesus told her to go and sin no more? That's what he proceeds to recite to me and pray. You go and sin no more.
Did he know you? Does he know
yes.
you?
Yes.
Oh my.
And I can't even explain to you what I felt at that moment, because one, my eyes were open. Because as soon as I hear him saying this, I'm like,
did you say what I just said? You just said?
that story doesn't agree with me. Like, that's the wrong story. Like, but everybody just, oh God, oh, do it, God, oh, do it, and I'm like,
Oh my God.
and I just go and sat down, and so now afterwards, it's like, well, she didn't already had the baby, and it was like, oh, okay, and that was it. I was mortified, and I said nothing because I thought that's what was supposed to happen.
Because you're supposed to take it.
Yep.
Now, mind you, I ain't gonna talk about this particular preacher, but as far as what I heard in the streets, your pastor ain't lily white as it should be neither. But I should go and sin no more.
It's giving.
Yeah.
Burns your biscuits, don't it?
You never told us that. I don't think.
I don't think you ever told us that.
It's a sore spot,
I-
as you can see. Like, and I didn't realize, because you talk about like the shame that was kind of those indirect messages, like the shame, the guilt, how they're making you kind of like almost kind of like a people pleaser, where you're like, you know, making sure you're appeasing others with your appearance, or making the responsibility of someone else's self-control yours, right? And so when I think about that, it's like, I didn't know these things were issues. I didn't know it was shame that I felt. I thought, because, you know, you're not supposed to question. You're not supposed to, you know, you're supposed to just kind of do what you said, do what you're told to do, and that's it.
That's
But
it.
but it's affecting me though. And I'm like, the pain that I feel, I thought was me not being right with God. Like, I thought it was,
almost.
because we twisted and distorted to make it, oh no, that's conviction.
Yeah.
No, you hurt my feelings. It's not conviction.
Because at the end
Like,
of the day, you're still a human being.
You're still human.
Regardless
Still
if you're saved or not, you're
human.
still a human being, and you're still allowed to have feelings.
I think there's a very thin line between the feelings and the conviction, because there's nothing, you know, we are, as Christians, like, we're going to be convicted, right? Like, that's a part
You
of,
should be.
right? That's a part of the journey, but it's also, I'm human, and I need to know how to deal with my feelings when they arise and identify them and stuff. And that's something we don't do in church, at least in Black church.
But to what you were saying when you were talking about the woman that went to Jesus, and, you know, she basically said what she did, and he said, go sin no more. So why, if he said sin no more and sent her on her way, then why is these other people that can't even match to him is still stuck on it? That doesn't make any sense.
well, that's probably the question, because we talk about the human. Well, we don't talk about the human experience. A lot of us now, because we're what are we, millennials? Like, a lot of us in 1980. Okay. Yeah. So it's like we fall into that age, that bracket there, and it's like a lot of us are kind of like, we're the errors. Like, we grew up with your feelings don't matter, but we're like, no, our feelings matter. And a lot of us are getting therapy because of like trying to heal from
medication sometimes.
And there's nothing wrong.
the blue
Nothing
and the
wrong
pink
with it.
Take it with food once a day, because we're just like unraveling like these experiences that, if you what I hope in this podcast is like, so yeah, we're saved, you know, we have the Holy Spirit and our flesh. Okay, so yeah, we're supposed to die to our flesh, we're supposed to deny our flesh. How are we can't deny it in the sense of ignoring it though.
Correct.
Like, are the feelings, like, when something triggers me, like just in that moment, perhaps I should address it, right? We can't just, well, you know, just go pray about it. What am I supposed to pray about?
Right. I don't even know what I'm feeling.
I don't even know what I'm feeling, because we never put emphasis on you feeling anything, because here you're supposed to be a robot, and you're supposed to mass produce these songs or these Sunday school lessons or whatever it is that it was your assignment to do. That's what we were supposed to do. Like, the human experience. It's kind of like I just now at 37 realizing, like, you know what? All these years I've been kind of trained to be numb.
Yeah.
You're kind of like,
Yeah.
it's almost kind of like praise. Like, things happen to you. Oh, yeah, I just was in an accident. Like, I got bruised up and banged up. But, God is still good. I'm alive. No.
Like,
not
no,
alone.
like, you broke your pelvis, man. Like,
My pelvis hurts.
It hurts.
your spine is
Every
like
time I
broken
get in a
half.
car, I have flashbacks
Of the- yeah.
about the accident. It's all right. Just pray it away.
Pray about- Nah.
I did.
Right. And it still
It's
hurts.
still happening.
But I
still
think
hurts.
to what you're saying, I think where I don't know, it's like a light bulb moment, I guess for me growing up, is when I was able to kind of find, is this where my relationship with God was? You can be told like what this verse says, what the Bible says, but then when you read it for yourself and actually have a relationship with God versus what you were taught or what you were told, it's like, wait a minute.
Something ain't right.
Let me read. I'm one of those
That's not
readers,
nothing.
like, I have to read something multiple times for me to be like, okay, I get it.
Yep.
That makes sense.
And it could also apply in different areas of your life as you're evolving, as you're
Yes.
growing. Like, you can read Romans 8:28 76 times, and it could mean something different every single time you read it.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. That's just something that I'm finding a lot. Like, as I'm
Triggered again.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, keep going and working through it.
You feel your feelings, friend. You feel them.
Okay.
She said, screen
They said-
therapy.
Right.
5 positive thoughts. Okay. I'm wonderful. I'm kind. I'm smart.
We need to do a grounding exercise. No, I'm kidding.
Oh God! Don't say them
I know,
words.
because I'll cry.
Oh God.
I always cry. But thank God for therapy. Like, real talk. Because, and I always tell y'all, like, my church experience has always been good. It's just like I'm learning now more of the nuances about like having the relationship for yourself than rather, going off what my mama taught me, or which is not wrong. I'm glad that I had a mom that cared enough to introduce me to the Lord and all of that. But just going through the motions of church versus actually having a relationship with God, like, that's what I'm grateful for. But I also was numb, and I didn't know it until my divorce. And I'm like, oh, I do have a heart, and it does hurt. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that hurts. So, did you have any support during that time of the divorce from
From church?
the church, the saints? Was they trying to make y'all stay together? Because they good for that.
They do that.
They tried that.
I
but
know
no.
he went upside your head.
Ooh, now that didn't happen, y'all. Not in,
No.
That did not happen.
No.
But
Just saying.
yeah. No, I mean, and honestly though, I think that's more because like I had stopped going to church, to be honest, a long time before the divorce. So I missed that connection. But even when I was at church down here in Cincinnati, I didn't have as much of a support system within the church from like elders and things like that. I had more like just like peers and friends and stuff. So those people, yes, I did have that support, but I couldn't really think of anybody besides my mom or my sister or you guys that I could like call and be like, hey, this is what's going on, or hey, can I cry, or whatever. So it was hurtful, but more so like, why don't I have that? Not because I believe that there will be people from my old church or from my home church that would have been willing to support me during that. But I just felt like there's that barrier because it's like, we just do church, we don't, there's not always that relationship there. So that was hard.
Interesting word, relationship. I know I found like once I actually started having a relationship with God for myself, like, I don't feel no shame when I pray, when I talk to God. But why is it when I talk to you up in this church, I feel nothing but shame or anger or rage or all of those things here in the space that it's supposed to be like a sanctuary or like a hospital? What I hope to bring is kind of like being able to share these experiences so more people can go back to church. Like, I think it's important for us to start having these conversations because I don't know if y'all have looked in the world today.
Baby, he coming back.
He's coming. He's coming.
It's these people is like.
Let me make sure my life is right, okay?
Listen, just repent on GP. Just
yeah, just in case.
let me just
in case.
let me just make sure because.
Just in
But it's
case.
like it's like this world is so it feels like right. It's so hopeless and lost and being on. I mean, social media. We already know what that's caused in the earth, but it's like. You see certain things happen and you see all these people just be so awful. Like, and people are desperate for something. They're desperate for hope of some kind. And it's like, that's where the church's supposed to come in. But right now we ain't
fighting each other, exposing each other, not for the sake of healing, but for the sake of let me expose you so I can hide my stuff, and it's a lot of that going on. It's a lot of competition in the church. It's a lot, and it's a lot of what it's not designed to be, in my opinion.
But I think it's also easy to what you were saying when you were saying that, being shamed, they probably see something in you that's within themselves and they can't hold themselves accountable. So that's why they are projecting that shame on you.
That's good. You smart.
Hey, look, that
Thank you, girl.
made me think like, what? Sister Mary.
Because you have to think about it. It's so easy to tell somebody about themselves, but when it's your turn,
Oh no, we don't like.
when it's your turn to be accountable,
You want to hear about yourself.
that's not easy to hear.
Especially when you're a saint that's stuck in their ways and tradition over healing.
Because you're not God, you're still a human.
You're still
being.
human.
Yeah.
You're still a person.
Whether it's intentionally or not, and that's why you always have to check yourself. And that's where that accountability comes into. It's like, well, was I tripping when I was doing that?
Yeah.
And this is why you have accountability partners.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's such a foreign concept anymore, because nobody wants to be held accountable because it's hard.
It's hard. It's hard to look in the mirror.
Yeah, it's hard to feel that because we don't know how to feel our feelings.
Yeah.
So it all connects in a bad way.
Can I say I appreciate that's 20 years of accountability.
Don't do this because I'm gonna cry.
No, for real. Because I look at. I'm due for a weekly cry at the beginning of the week. No, but for real, like a lot. Look, even marriages don't last 20 years, let alone friendships. So to have friends that are saved and love God, but if you do something that's out of pocket, I'm like, girl, you tripping? Like, you sound dumb. Stop doing that.
No, please tell me.
Please tell me.
Because we be struggling.
Because we know you're gonna tell us.
As we talking, listen, y'all tag y'all friends, y'all accountability partners in the comments, and just let them know you appreciate them because. Hold it.
Don't
do it. Catch it. Hold it. Okay. Whew. Like this has been a
we've grown together.
Like 2004. Like the child that they are the godmothers to. Like
I remember when you said you was praying, I was like, oh.
We was in the cafeteria. In school.
We was in my room.
I was about to say I remember being in the door.
We were in my room in Calhoun. And you was saying something about the symptoms, and I was like, oh, shit.
And that's exactly how you calculate back.
You was like, check. I remember it was like 9 days. He was like, do you think I should call that? It was like some like pregnancy highlight. I said,
my God.
I think you might want to do that. You might want to look into that because that
oh God.
And we always like, well, how are you feeling? Like, I don't know. Like it was just
feelings.
It was a lot.
First of all, what are those?
What are those? We don't do those. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. So I appreciate being able to have people you can do life with for real. Like ups, downs, just like I got no money, girl. Okay, well, okay, let's check this out. Or I ain't got a lot of money, but I can get you, a meal or something. Like, oh, baby girl, she needs something. Well, I ain't got. Okay, give me till next week. Like.
Done picked her up a couple times.
Picked up. Hey, can you pick her?
Name is on the list type.
Period.
Like, hey, can I use you as an emergency contact, please? Because, like, we was all we had for a long time, and so
yeah, don't do that.
Nope, don't start. Don't.
It's a lot because your friends. Well, I won't say all friends, but the people that you have vouched for, that you're supposed to vouch for, I will say like y'all, especially these last couple years.
Man, this has been life.
it got serious.
It got real serious.
Friends be there before your family.
Ooh.
That's
like the segue.
I ain't gonna start that conversation.
That's for next
That
time.
wound is still fresh. I ain't healed yet.
Still walking through. We're still
If you know, you know.
But
It's real.
That's real. And like, we're talking about a relationship with God. It's like, sometimes I might be out of my mind. It's like, all right,
slip up.
tag y'all in. I can't pray for myself right now. So it's like, you got to have you some friends that prayer's going to get higher than the ceiling. Because live long enough. Now we sound like
Somebody's auntie.
keep on living, okay? Keep on living.
To the auntie club.
Like, I'm not willing to accept that. Okay, wait, time out. What is the qualifications of an auntie? When does the age start? Because I don't
like
believe
30,
it.
I would say like 35 to like 40. That's like
that's prime.
That's
auntie.
like the auntie stage.
And I'm right there. I'm literally Auntie Crystal. Like, just auntie. That's all I am. Auntie.
I don't believe it. I'm trying to be.
I mean, I'm still cute, but
Well, yeah, but I don't want to be no auntie. I don't want nobody walking up like,
That's
hey,
better
auntie.
than mother.
Oh, I definitely don't want to be better than
Mother
nobody.
that's.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I could just see you with your all
Auntie,
white.
no, with the. I love Jesus card.
But you got the peppermints in your bag, so you may be on your way. You got them old chewy peppermints that been sitting in your bag for a while.
Yes, you already there, sis. And the butterscotch. The butterscotch is
disgusting.
First of all,
word.
y'all was not supposed to tell my business.
Sorry. Was it supposed to stay in the chat? Sorry.
okay. You need your
All right.
peppermints. She got you.
I do though. I got all kinds of peppermints. I got the regular peppermints. I got the peppermint sticks. Anyway,
Peppermint
sticks.
like
don't they only offer that during Christmas time or something?
no, like
at
at Cracker Barrel,
sticks.
those little soft peppermint sticks that be in the bag.
No, ma'am. It's giving Mother Gibbs.
Anyways, do y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what the peppermint sticks. You can get them from anywhere, any candy store. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about.
No, because
okay.
They look for good candy when they go to the candy store.
That part.
As we wrap up, as we bring it all together, give me like an affirmation or something positive to say to like any woman, well, man or woman, but any woman out there that's like struggling with their relationship with God, with church, and they're not trying to run away from God or anything, but give them like an affirmation or just like a tip or maybe something that helped you just to stay on the journey.
I would say for me, and starting to, how we were talking about reading the word again and, different things that you may have not found in one session, you're finding it in this session. Before you even start reading, pray over yourself that you're able to, God, let me find something new. Educate me on something new. Deal with my heart if there's something that I don't see. Because again, that intentional versus, intentional. Let me find something new so that my relationship with you can be better. I feel like you should always be striving to be a better version of yourself because we're never going to be perfect. And like we were saying, it's always going to be a chance that we slip and fall. So I would say, just get back into your word and, let that feed into your spirit so you can be able to decipher, is this what man is saying or God is this you? Because God will talk to you. don't be one of those people that only feel that somebody else can speak over you or speak to you through God. God can speak to you by himself. Okay? So that's what I would say.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
My tip, go to therapy. Go to therapy. And there's nothing wrong with you if you need somebody else to talk to.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong if you need medication. This is to enhance what Danny Pants was just saying. Like, you should know the word for yourself, but if you don't, the best way to do that is to get in your word and read it. There's Bible apps, there's Bible plans, there's all of those things, but you may find that something's missing, and it could be that you're dealing with trauma, childhood trauma, you're dealing with work-life balance, you're dealing with something that's blocking you from getting to that next level. And to me, the best thing that I did besides having my accountability partners was therapy. So again, there's nothing wrong with it. There's a lot of less amount of stigma around it now. Yeah. So it's accepted. And lean on your support system too, and have somebody that's going to hold you accountable. Talk about what you want to do for your relationship with God. If you want to, I want to read my Bible every day. I want to make sure I'm praying every day. Hold me accountable. Have somebody that'll do that.
And if you ain't got to ask God to send you somebody that will do that for you.
Because he will.
He will do it.
One of us could do it. No.
Nah. I'm good. No, thank you.
Never mind.
She's a social worker. Like, that ain't me.
I'll help you. Don't call me.
I don't want it.
Y'all silly.
Jesus plus therapies is such a vibe. Get into it. Ain't that what y'all be saying? What I would say, in addition to Jesus plus therapy, is whatever it is that you're holding on to, that whatever your experience is, the things that you don't talk about, the things that you kind of hold within yourself, go ahead and open up that hand, open up your heart, and expose it. The journey of healing, that's a treacherous one. It's not fun. It's ugly. It hurts. However, it's worth exposing that wound so it can get cleaned up. It can get cleaned out. You can get rid of those things that continue to hurt you so you can actually heal for real. Because it don't make no difference how much you read that Bible if you holding a whole bunch of stuff inside you, right? It doesn't make no difference that you read the Bible and you go into therapy, but you go into therapy wasting time because you're not talking about the real issues. Go ahead and open up that hand and expose the truth, expose what's real. And I ain't saying go to your mom and them, your pastor. I'm talking about do it for yourself first. If you got a journal, you got your phone, put in your notes app. There's all sorts of ways for you to start your healing journey. So with all of that being said, this has been fun. Go ahead and drop a comment if you enjoyed it. If there's some topics you want us to cover, go ahead and drop that in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, with Chic Life TV, we want you to love God, live chic. Talk to you soon. Live life, love God.